Hey there, Jenn Dize here for Status Coup, and Chris Cuomo of CNN seems to be having an existential crisis. Yesterday on his Sirius XM radio show, he made some remarks that made some people question how he really feels about his job at CNN. He may have revealed a little bit too much because today he backtracked on some of his comments. Let's listen to what he said yesterday, Monday, first of all. Then we can dive into the wider news story that this became. So this was Shelby Talcott who grabbed this clip. She works for the Daily Caller, and it goes without saying that Chris Cuomo is known as more of a leftist journalist, a leftist commentator, whereas the Daily Caller and its ilk are more on the right, in some cases on the very, very, very right. So they definitely picked this up and ran with it, which seems to have made Chris Cuomo even more upset than he would have been otherwise. He's very upset at the media, which I'll get to. So here's what he said.
Because I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally. Like what? Well, I don't like what I do professionally, I've decided. I like doing this show. I like talking to you guys. But I don't value indulging irrationality, hyperpartisanship. I don't think it's worth my time. And I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker to be able to pull over and get in my face and in my space and talk bullshit to me. I don't want to hear it. And just like you would, right? You're not going to tolerate that, right? Some cat just basically pulls up in the driveway next to yours and starts getting in your face about stuff. How's that going to go? How's that going to go? Right? That matters to me more than making millions of dollars a year. That matters to me more. Why? Because I've saved my money.
Okay, so there was Chris Cuomo yesterday, Monday, on his Sirius XM radio show. Again, he said he doesn't like what he does and it's not worth his time, and he ranted about a jackass loser fat tire biker. The part about the fat tire biker is because he was outside with his kids, his family, and someone got upset with him. Apparently a biker got upset with him because he was out and he has been diagnosed with coronavirus. So that's what that is about, as an aside. Overall, though, in that clip, to me, seems to be saying that he's upset about his job. He's fed up with his job. He's rethinking his role here as a journalist. He's thinking about his role and what he does. And the New York Post gives even more quotes. So I haven't been able to, Sirius hasn't put up the on-demand version of this yet, so I can't clip the entire thing. But there's more that Chris Cuomo said. So let's get more of the context here. And context, as we'll learn, is something that Chris Cuomo cares a lot about, as he should. So his opinion is that all of these people are taking his comments completely out of context and saying that he doesn't like his job or his position at CNN. Here is what the New York Post had to say, and they were the original ones who kind of took this and ran with it. Coronavirus-stricken Chris Cuomo trashes CNN gig during radio show meltdown. So that's quite a headline there. Quite an attention-grabbing headline. Chris Cuomo's coronavirus-induced fever may have subsided, but the CNN anchor was red hot on Monday. Of course, this is all sensationalist. That's what the New York Post often does. The longtime cable host, 49, had an existential mini-crisis on his Sirius XM show, lashing out at his lucrative primetime gig and blasting President Trump as full of bleep. I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally, Cuomo said. I don't value indulging irrationality, hyperpartisanship. Cuomo said his battle with COVID-19 has made him rethink his values and question his position as a public figure. I don't like what I do professionally, he said. I don't think it's worth my time. That is very obviously like, wow. If you're talking about Chris Cuomo, one of the most well-known celebrity journalists in the country, that's quite a statement for him to be making. Cuomo then launched into a tale about a loser biker who confronted him on Easter Sunday for being outside his Southampton home with his family despite his coronavirus diagnosis. I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker being able to pull over and get in my space and talk bull bleep to me. I don't want to hear it, he said. And by the way, I'm bleeping myself because I don't want this video to get demonetized. Cuomo said he wishes he could have acted like a regular Joe and told the biker to go to hell. That matters more to me than making millions of dollars a year because I've saved my money and I don't need it anymore. I want to be able to tell you to go to hell, to shut your mouth. I don't get that doing what I do for a living. So to me, this seems like he's having a problem with his celebrity. He wants to be able to go on a rant like he did when he was called Fredo. and that rant, if you'll remember, was quite the interesting news story of its own. Cuomo definitely stood up for himself and was not happy. He seems to be kind of hot-tempered. So as a celebrity reporter on CNN, he's really not able to do that as much as he might like. I'm pretty sure he got a talking to after the Fredo rant, and I'm pretty sure he got a talking to after this rant. Me being able to tell you to shut your mouth or I will do you the way you guys do each other. Yikes. Speaking about his job as the host of CNN's Cuomo Primetime, the Queens-born anchor said he doesn't want to spend his time trafficking in things that I think are ridiculous. Such things include talking to Democrats about things that I don't really believe they mean, and talking to Republicans about them parroting things they feel they have to say. Ooh. Let's read that one more time. Such things include talking to Democrats about things that I don't really believe they mean, and talking to Republicans about them parroting things they feel they have to say. That to me says that he's having to hold himself back from truly calling people out. I don't know how much he is holding himself back because he often hasn't really challenged people as much as he should be. But this frustration, he knows that these partisan politicians, partisan spokespeople are liars. He knows. He knows that the establishment on either side are liars and they don't truly say what they mean. So, is Chris Cuomo having a come to Jesus moment? Is he really truly thinking about these things as he sits in quarantine after having contracted coronavirus? Inquiring minds really want to know. He also wants to stop analyzing the president, who we all know is full of bleep by design. As a public figure, Cuomo said, he has to tolerate other people's opinions of him, and it's just not worth it to him anymore. I don't think it's worth it to me because I don't think I mean enough. I don't think I matter enough. I don't think I can really change anything. So then what am I really doing? I'm basically being perceived as successful in a system that I don't value, he continued. I'm being seen as being good on TV and advocating for different positions, but I don't know if I value those things. Certainly not as much as I value being able to live my life on my own terms. When the biker confronted him, Cuomo said he'd wanted to respond, getting heated when he detailed how the guy didn't know the rules and how he'd made sure to take social distancing measures. But here I am in an almost powerless position against this ass, because I'm a celebrity and he's allowed to say whatever he wants to me. And I have to take it or he's going to call the New York Post, haha, and lie about something and then I'm going to have to deal with it, Cuomo continued. And then they go into the Fredo the Fredo incident that we all remember. I have to tolerate people's opinion about me because I'm a public figure, Cuomo said. I don't want to do that. I don't think it's worth it to me. So, as I said, I haven't been able to listen to the entire thing myself. I really, really wanted to be able to do so, but Sirius hasn't put up the whole thing because Cuomo's response is that this was all taken out of context. He says he loves his job at CNN. He says that the media just wants sensationalized headlines, and that what he's ranting against is the media as a whole and the lack of real journalistic integrity on the whole. Let's listen to a clip of what he said today, of his response. Then we'll analyze it a bit and see what we think. Is he really clarifying his point yesterday? Or did he get a phone call from the powers that be at CNN, which made him kind of retract what he had said? Here's what he said today.
Again, you're not going to pick this up, and that says more about how you do the job than what I think about the job. Just know that. And I will always say that to my audiences, wherever they are. Just because I am in the media does not mean I am forgiving of the media when it doesn't do things the right way. And I don't care what you say about saying, well, these were your words. Context matters. The president deserves benefit of context. Everybody in an elected office deserves benefit of context. We should not be cheap on context. We should not play gotchas with context. And we do it to each other because it's what works. Negativity is a proxy for insight. And you don't want to do a real story about what I think about journalism, and why should you? I don't care about talking about what I think about journalism, except as I want to do it, when I want to do it, as a function of how I feel about my own process on my own show. That's what I'm doing. But know this. I love where I am. I love what I do. That doesn't mean it isn't frustrating. That doesn't mean it isn't frustrating, especially now. I don't think it's ever mattered more than it has during this administration. And yes, this is a kicker, what we're dealing with COVID. And I think that where I work at CNN has especially stepped up. Do I need to say that? No. They don't care what I say about CNN. They don't want me back.
Do they really not care about what you say about CNN? I think they probably care a lot, Chris Cuomo.
Bash at CNN. Why would they? I have no reason to bash it anyway. No place has ever been better to me. No place has ever given me the opportunities that Zucker has. And I am known as difficult to manage, and I'm not known as a company guy and all this other stuff. True or untrue, I don't care. It's too late. I'm too old. Can't change anybody's opinions of anything. But I'll tell you what, anywhere in the world, covering anything, no matter what the risk is, no matter what the duration, my hand goes up as fast as anybody's. Why? Because they deserve the loyalty. And I believe in the mission of CNN and how we do the job and the people doing there, where I want to be part of that first team going anywhere in the world doing anything. I see it as an honor to report for Anderson Cooper. I will be his correspondent anywhere, anytime, anywhere in the world. Wolf, Jake, all those guys. Don. I will work for any of them on any story, anytime. The men and women at that place deserve the patronage of everybody else coming together, depending on whose lead it is at that time. I'll fall in line for any of them. I'll go anywhere, I'll do anything, no matter what the personal risk, because the job deserves it and CNN deserves it. That's the truth of how I feel about the place. And do I have questions about how to do the job and my utility and my value to you as an audience? Yeah. Are they profound? Yeah. Are they deeper now than they've ever been before? Yeah. Why? Because I think it matters more. And that's one of the reasons that I'm living this in real time with you guys, because I think it's instructive and helpful to you. Oh, well, it's Joe, you're not really sick. It's a PR move. Yeah, right. It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. So that is the truth. And let it lie with that. I know it's not going to get picked up. I know that they're going to keep banging around headlines that I'm not happy and I'm going to leave my job and I'm not going to... It's all not true. It's all inaccurate. Do you understand? And still, not a single person has called me to talk about the piece and what the truth of it is. That should tell you something about how the media works when it's not working the right way. All right, let's get back to what matters. So, again.
Okay, so what do you believe? Do you believe that Chris Cuomo is talking about what happened today in a very different way that he was talking about it yesterday on his own accord, or did he get a talking to from CNN? And by the way, Chris Cuomo, Status Coup did pick up what you said today, because I do think it matters. I think it matters that you're backtracking on what you said yesterday. I don't know what the truth is, what you're really experiencing, Chris Cuomo, but I think that you were frustrated yesterday, and because you were frustrated yesterday and you're dealing with coronavirus and there are thoughts swirling in your head, I think the answer is that you let some truth escape. And today you felt like you had to backtrack on that. Yeah, it really stinks that it was really only right-wing media and the New York Post who picked this up. I believe CBS also picked it up, maybe some others. But for the most part, the right wing is really milking it. I get that that sucks. I get that things are being taken out of context. But overall, Chris, you were frustrated and you let some truth escape. The question is, what are you going to do about it now? If you're not happy with what you're doing professionally, then what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to make it better? We don't care about this sensationalism. We don't care about the headlines. What we care about is how you conduct yourself. Are you going to challenge these people more readily, more aggressively than you are right now? How are you going to make these changes? Is CNN going to allow you to make these changes that are swirling around in your head? If you're not happy with the job that you're doing, then make some changes. I'll be curious to see what Chris Cuomo has to say next on this topic, and if he truly is going through this existential crisis due to coronavirus and being locked up, how that pans out, how he kind of emerges from this. I'm a little bit naive, I'm a little bit of a Pollyanna, and I'm really hopeful that he plans to make some positive changes. We'll keep an eye on it.